بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his family, his companions, and upon all those who follow upon his guidance into the establishment of the last day, to proceed, ikhwan. Shukran, Shaykh. Amma ba'd. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعاء لا يسمع. Verily, Ya Allah, we seek refuge with you from knowledge that has no benefit, and from a heart that has no fear, and from a soul that has no satisfaction nor contentment, and from a dua that goes unanswered. To proceed, ikhwan, فنواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue on this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من علم الفقه. As we continue to learn together, collectively, ماذا, seeking the aid of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate, from the chapter or the science of al-fiqh, from the science of al-fiqh. وندرس من كتاب النكاح من كتاب الشيخ فوزان الملخص الفقهي حفظه الله تعالى. And we're reading specifically from the book of Imam al-Fawzan, has been entitled al-Mulakhas al-Fiqhi, the summary or the summarization of al-fiqh or Islamic jurisprudence. ووصلنا إلى باب كتاب النكاح ولا نزال فيه. And we have arrived at the chapter, the book of marriage, and we're still in the book of marriage. فآخر شيء تعلمناه يا إخوان, the last thing that we mentioned, قال حفظه الله تعالى الشرط الثالث, the third condition, من شروط صحة النكاح, from the conditions of the correctness of one's marriage. قال الشرط الثالث, condition number three, أن يعقد على المرأة وليها, that the woman, she has over her a wali, a guardian. طيب, لقول النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, based upon the statement of the Messenger of Allah, لا نكاح إلا بولي, that there is no marriage except that the woman has a wali. أخرجه الخمسة إلا النسائية رحمه الله تعالى. And this hadith has been collected by the 5 Imams except for Imam al-Nasa'i. طيب, من هم, ما المراد بقوله الخمسة? What's the author's intent when he says the 5 Imams collected this hadith? Manhum, who are they? Who are the 5 Imams that some scholars of hadith they talk about? Muslim, Bukhari, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, two more, or one more. Abu Dawud. Kharrij al-Bukhari wa Musliman. Take Bukhari and Muslim away. So now we have as-Sunan al-Arba', the 4 Imams of the Sunnah that are known. Their books are called the Sunnah. At-Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, Ibn Majah, An-Nasa'i. Wa zid wahidan al-Imam Ahmad. And add one, and that will be Imam Ahmad. So he says except the 5 collected except Nasa'i. So all 5 of them mention this hadith إلا Nasa'i, except al-Imam al-Nasa'i. وكتاب النسائي يا إخوان كتاب عظيم ولا نسمع منه كثيرا في أمريكا على الأسف. لكن كتابه ما شاء الله تعالى مبارك نعمة من الله تعالى هو إمام قوح والله أعلم. His book, Ya Ikhwan, the Sunnah of Imam al-Nasai, is a tremendous book. We don't hear about it a lot in America, unfortunately, but it doesn't take away from the prestige and the honor of the great Imam. His book is a tremendous book, a blessing, a ni'mah from Allah, as he is a true Imam, Imam al-Nasai. قال من حديث أبي موسى الأشعري وهو عند أبو داود والترمذي وابن ماجه وغيرهم. In this hadith, there's no marriage except that the woman has a wali. This hadith is narrated by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari and is collected from the 5 Imams except An-Nasa'i. It's collected by Abu Dawud, it's collected by Tirmidhi, it's collected by Ibn Majah, and other than them also. قال فلو طيب وذكرنا اختلاف بين العلماء, and we also mentioned that there's some difference of opinion here from some of the scholars. فمن قال أنه يجوز للمرأة أن تزوج نفسها. So who's from the scholars that had the point of view that it is allowed for a woman to marry off herself? Who has that point of view? Who remembers? ذكرنا إماما أظن. We mentioned one Imam that's his point of view, that it's allowed for a woman to marry without a wali. That's a weak position. However, some scholars say that. Who remembers? Tadhkur, you remember? Al-Imam Abu Hanifa. He had that opinion. May Allah have mercy upon him. لكن نحترم العلماء كلهم. We honor and we love the scholars, all of them. وهذا من ديننا. That's from our religion. لكن إذا أقوالهم لا سبقت بالدليل لا نقبله يا إخوان. وهذا لا يخالف الاحترام. لا يخالف الاحترام. So we love the scholars, all of the scholars. That's from our religion. It's not from the Muslim to talk bad about a scholar. It's not from Islam, ya ikhwan. Our religion, we show honor to those who deserve to be shown honor. From them, the people of knowledge. However, even although we love the ulama and we honor the ulama, if their statements are not preceded with proofs and evidences or not supported with proofs and evidences, then their opinions are not accepted, ya ikhwan. And this does not contradict honor and showing merit to the people of knowledge. لأننا أمرنا باتباع سنة باتباع القرآن والسنة, because we have been commanded to follow the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام. قال فلو زوجت المرأة نفسها بدون وليها فنكاحها باطل. So Shaykh Fawzan continues. He says, so therefore, if a woman marries off herself or gets married without her wali, then her marriage is false. وهذا عند من يشترط الولي وهذا الجمهور. And this is from the people of knowledge that they make a stipulation that you have to have a wali. For those that say you don't have to have a wali, then that marriage will be correct. No. وأبو حنيفة لا يقوله عاما, لا, هو يشترط أن تكون المرأة بكرا. And Abu Hanifa, he doesn't say any woman can get married without a wali. No, he's talking about طيب. He's not talking. Abu Hanifa is not speaking generally. هو يبين, he clarifies. ويعني بذلك المرأة ليست بكرا. He's talking about the woman that's not a virgin. وتزوجت قبله, and she was already married previously. This is the one that, in his opinion, he believes she doesn't need a wali. She does not need a wali. لكن هذا القول بدون دليل. But that proof does not have any evidence yet. طيب. قال لأن ذلك ذريعة إلى الزنا. He says because this could lead to illegal relations. If a woman could just marry her own self, then this could just open the door for some falsehood to come. لأن المرأة قاصرة النظر عن اختيار الأصلح لها. And this is the words of the Shaykh, which are our best here. We hope none of the women get offended here. He says because the woman, she is deficient in her intellect. She is deficient here. And perhaps she doesn't choose that which is the best for herself. Allahu Akbar. Wallahu ta'ala خاطب الأولياء بالنكاح. So Allah Ta'ala الأولياء بالنكاح. So Allah Ta'ala is addressing those, it's upon the Muslim to choose that which is the best to the best of their ability with regards to marriage. فقال تعالى, as Allah Ta'ala He says, وأنكحوا الأيام منكم, Surah An-Nur. How did they translate that in your book, Shaykh Abdul Aziz? Surah An-Nur.
Unmarried among you. Surah An-Nur, ayat 32.
Al-Ayama minkum. One more time.
Ayat 32. Okay. And married the unmarried among you.
لا بأس. جميلا. طيب وقال تعالى فلا تعدلوهن. Surah Al-Baqarah. And Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, translate that one also in your book.
Do not prevent them from marrying.
عضلا, and do not stop them or prevent them from getting married. Surah Al-Baqarah. وغير ذلك من الآيات, and other than that, from those particular verses. طيب لا بأس. ثم قال الإمام الفوزان وولي المرأة. And who is the wali of a woman? Who can be the wali?
Father.
The father? Brother? Uncle?
Any male that's connected to her family-wise.
Any male connected to her, لا يجوز لها أن تتزوج به. Any male in her family, in her blood, that she can't marry. وكذلك مثلا من الرضاعة. Also, same ruling for the man that's her brother by suckle. If the woman مثلا المرأة هي ترضع أو ترضع شخصا أو طفلا 5 مرات ويكفي هذا الطفل. If a woman, she breastfeeds a child 5 times, and each sitting the child is suffice from that sitting 5 times, أصبح هذا الولد ابنا لها من الرضاعة. Then this little boy that she just breastfed 5 times becomes her son, her suckle son. وابنتها مثلا أصبحت أختا له من الرضاعة. So if that woman that breastfed that child has a daughter, now since the son becomes her son, or the child becomes her son from the rida'a, the same rules apply. So this is her daughter, so they become brother and sister. So he will be her wali. He will be her wali. وكذلك أبو المرأة أصبح وليا. أصبح وأبا من الرضاعة لهذا الولد. Likewise, the father of that mother who suckled this child will be a father of that particular boy, his grandfather. No. So the same rules apply. من الدين ومن الدم ومن الرضاعة. Your family from the religion, or your family from the blood, and your family from rida'a. The difference is regarding the religion. You have to look at the relationship, for example, not your brothers in Islam. This is not the point here. The point is min ad-dam wa min al-rida'a. The family he's talking about here is not your Islamic family by religion, your family by way of blood, suckling, and there's one more that I'm missing here. Come on. من الدم ومن الرضاعة, from your blood and from suckling. فأي رجل ما لا يجوز لهذه المرأة أن تتزوج به فهو من المحارم أصبح وليا لها. So any man in the family of this woman, either by blood or from suckling, that she can't marry. If she can't marry this person, meaning ever, not right now only. There are some people that you can't marry now, لكن إذا تغير الحال يمكنك أن تتزوج به. But if the situation changes, then you can marry them. So here he's talking about the ones that you can't marry at all. فمثلا, for example, إذا الأخ يتزوج بأخت لا يجوز أن يتزوج بأختها من الرضاعة ومن الدم. So if a man is married to a woman, her sister he can't marry right now. Her sister from blood and her sister from suckling. لكن إذا تغير الحال يجوز له أن يتزوج بها. But if that situation changes, ماتت هذه المرأة, this wife dies, then he can marry the sister of the wife. أو طلقها يجوز له أن يتزوج بأختها. Or he divorces this woman. So the situation changes. Now he can marry her sister. يمكن لا يرى هذا في أمريكا لكن يجوز. Perhaps you're not going to see that in America a lot, in the West, where someone marries a woman and then later on marries her sister. You're not going to see that every ikhwan, but it's allowed. It's allowed. No. Who can give another example of a situation right now you can't marry them, but the situation could change, then you can marry them? Who can give us an example? Right now you can't marry them, but something can change. The sisters, we mentioned that. Tfadal.
Maybe if that period is over.
Okay, marrying a woman, something that you can't marry. طيب, if she's in idda, you can't marry her right now. انتهى وقتها يجوز لك أن تتزوج بها. Her idda is over. Yes, now you can marry her. That'd be a good one. You can say that. ومثلا الشخص متزوج بأخت ثم يطلقها ويتزوج بعمتها قبل أو بعد ذلك. هذا يجوز. A man is married to a woman, he divorced her or they divorce, and then later on he marries her aunt. That can be you can marry someone's aunt, for example. Not at the same time. No. What else, ya ikhwan? طيب, someone's mother, you're married to a woman and you can't. طيب, أنت متزوج بأخت ثم تطلقها لا يجوز لك بعد ذلك أن تتزوج بأمها. You're married to a woman, you divorce her, you can't marry her mother ever. You can't marry her mother. So you're always going to be the mahram of your wife's mother. You can see her, you can travel with her, you can be her wali. The wife of your mother, you can never marry her. Some of the ulama يقولون يا إخوان لكن العكس بالتفصيل. But the opposite, there's some detail. بمعنى, meaning, إذا شخص متزوج بامرأة ولها بنت وهذه البنت لا تعيش مع الأم. قال بعض العلماء يجوز لك أن تتزوج بالبنت. لكن لا أرى دليلهم حتى الآن. Some scholars have an opinion, يا إخوان. However, I've never saw their proof yet. But some say this. If a man is married to a mother, and this mother has a daughter, but the daughter didn't grow up in the same house of the mother. She grew up somewhere else. Some scholars say if there was a divorce there, that man can marry the daughter because she didn't live in the house with them. I have never seen that proof, but that's some statements. There are many statements that some scholars say, ya ikhwan. Islam is not based upon this sheikh says, that's not Islam, ya ikhwan. Even the ulama, even the students of knowledge, even the a'imma, even the imams, يحتاجون إلى الدليل, are in need of proofs. Memorize this, ya ikhwan. Al-Islamu yubna al-dalil. Islam is built upon proofs. Islam is not yubna al-ara. Islam is not built upon opinions. إذا أن أعطيكم رأي أو رأي أي شيخ ما أي شخص ما أي إمام ما أي طلبة العلم ما لا يجب عليكم الأخذ به. If I give you my opinion, the opinion of my sheikh, the opinion of any sheikh, the opinion of any imam, any student of knowledge you wish, their opinions, not their Quran and Sunnah, their opinions, it's not obligatory upon you to take it. You can take it if you wish. You can reject it if you wish. It's up to you. And no one should get offended. In America, we're going to get offended. Oh, he doesn't take my opinion. Sometimes the brothers, man, mashallah, I'm older than you, ya akhi. I was there when you became Muslim. Shukran, Shaikh. But you have no proof. I remember when I first became Muslim, I was in Philadelphia, and I صليت مع شخص. I prayed with a brother. كنا في المسجد. We were in the masjid there. وهو كان على جنبي. He was right beside me. ففي كل حركة في الصلاة رأيته ينظر إلي. So every movement in the prayer, I noticed him like looking at me to see what I was doing. But I'm the new brother. So I was like, well, maybe he's making sure I'm doing it right. Maybe. Every movement. I see him looking at him, trying to hide him so I could focus. He's looking at me, mashallah. بعد صلاة قال لي القيام عليك أن تضع يدك اليمنى على اليسرى على البطن. على البطن. So he said, hey, akhi, I know you're new in Islam. Do you mind if I give you a benefit? I said, mashallah, give me any benefit that's beneficial. Come on, hat, give it to me. He said, when you're standing, put your right hand over your left, over your stomach. He said, that's the sunnah. So I was waiting for him to give us proofs. I'm waiting. That's the first thing I learned in Islam. Go after the proofs. One of the brothers, when I went to Lincoln University, one of our beloved brothers, Ibrahim Fletcher or Lamont, one of those brothers there, they encouraged me, go after the proofs. Go after the proofs. The adillah. So I'm waiting for the Shaykh, the brother, to give me his proofs. I'm waiting. That was it. I said, Akhi, shukran. Where'd you get that from? Is that from the Quran and Sunnah? First thing he said, yeah, Akhi, you're a new Muslim. I've been Muslim 30 years, mashallah. I travel all around America. He started giving me his life story, mashallah. I went to here. I used to sit in the classes of the brothers. Alhamdulillah. I used to be in New York. When the scholars would come, I would sit in their classes. I would take my notes. Alhamdulillah. Where'd you get that from? That's what I'm asking you. That's awesome. Who taught you that? Is that from Quran and Sunnah? He said, I'll get it to you. Alhamdulillah. But Islam is not based upon opinions, ya akhwan. Islam is based upon proofs. You'll be amazed how many statements you hear and they're wrong. When you compare to Quran and Sunnah, you'll be amazed. From the statements that we have nowadays in the West, in our city, in New Jersey. لا يمكنك أن تصلي إلا في مسجد كذا وكذا. Some brothers, they say, I've heard this myself. You can't pray except in masjid such and such. And then they mention a masjid. Whatever masjid to them is on the sunnah. Any salah outside of this masjid or that masjid, salatuka batila. Your salah is false. أين هذا في القرآن والسنة? Where is that in the Quran and Sunnah? Where did Allah mention this masjid by name, or that masjid by name, or that masjid by name? Where did the Messenger ﷺ do that, ya ikhwan? The answer is, لا يوجد. It's not there. A lot of statements, ya ikhwan, we have made up. طيب. قال وولي المرأة, the wali of a woman, هو أبوها, her father, ثم وصيه فيها. طيب. نتوقف هنا قليلا. So let's stop here for a moment. الشيخ الفوزان هو يبين من الأفضل من أن يكون وليا ثم يذكر الترتيب. So the Shaykh here, he's mentioning the wali generally, but he's also mentioning who has the right first and foremost to be the wali. And then after him who? And then after him who? And then after him who? طيب. قال first and foremost أبوها, her father. ثم وصيه فيها. Now انتبهوا هنا, listen to this one يا إخوان. He says after the father, the one that the father appoints. وهذا قوي, and that's strong يا إخوان. فمثلا الأب له أولاد وله أصدقاء كذلك. There's a father and he has some children, but he has some companions also. فهو يوصي شخصا آخر ليس من أولاده أن يكون وليا على ابنته وهذه الوصية أفضل من الأولاد. So the father has some daughters and he has some sons also, and he also has some companions. So he appoints one of his companions. If something was to happen to me, you are the wali over my daughter, even if he has sons. And the one that the father appoints has more right than his sons. And if something was to happen to the one that the father appointed, then the sons got more right after that. First the father, then the wasiyuhu fiha, then the one that the father appoints over his daughter. قال ثم جدها لأب, then after that the grandfather. وبعض هذه يا إخوان من اجتهاد الشيخ فوزان حفظ الله. Now some of these orderings is from the position of the noble Shaykh al-Fawzan. It's from his ijtihad. And some of them are unanimous. And some of them, some scholars make therefore with our beloved Shaykh. So the first is the father. ثم وصيه فيها, then the one that he appoints. Some scholars say the father, then the father's father, then the one that the father appoints. So they differ there. At any rate, ثُمَّ جَدُّهَا. Then the grandfather. So you got the father, the one the father appoints, then the father's father. لِأَبٍ. Now, العلماء يختلفون هنا. Now the scholars differ here. Our Shaykh leans towards the side of the father's family. Some scholars say they are the same. Both grandfathers are equal. The father of the father and the father of the mother, sawa'an. They are the same. Other scholars say la. Jihatul ab aqwa min jihatul Some scholars say no. The side of the father is stronger than the side of the mother. وَيُوجَدُ طَائِفَةٌ ثَالِثَةٌ. Then there's a third opinion. Jihatul aqwa min jihatil ab. They contradict the second group. The side of the mother's family is stronger than the father's family. So there are three opinions. The father's side and the mother's side are the same. Your brother on your father's side is equal to the brother on your mother's side. No one has no afdaliyah. No one is more virtuous or more a'ala bi an yakuna waliyan laki. With regards to who has more right to be a guardian. They're the same. Then the second opinion, al-akh min jihatil ab. The brother on your father's side. Third opinion, the brother on your mother's side. Right? Now they all agree that the brother from your mother and father is stronger. They all agree to that. If you have a brother, for example, from your father and your mother, and then you have a brother that's on your father's side, the one that shares the father and the mother with you has more right to be a guardian with regards to your brothers. Now the tricky part, ya ikhwan, من الذين يقولون أن جهة الأب أقوى لا دليل على هذا. The tricky part is those scholars that say the side of the father is stronger. There's no proof for that. والذين يقولون أن جهة الأم أقوى لا دليل على هذا أيضا. And those that say the side of the mother is stronger, there's no proof for that either. They're used in different narrations that show, for example, those that say the side of the mother is stronger, they use the point of view that the mother has more right than the father, which is true in Islam. Those that say the father has more, the side of the father has more right because the father is the wali of the house. He's the Imaam of the house. So if the mother was stronger, her side was stronger, then how could the father be the wali? So both point of views are there, but you still need proof to show that something is better or stronger. At any rate, ثُمَّ جَدُّهَا لِأَبٍ. He says, then the father's father, وَإِنْ عَلَى ثُمَّ إِبْنُهَا. Then her son. So, firstly her father, then the one that the father appoints, then the father's father, then you go backwards, then the sons, the son of the girl. ثُمَّ بَنُوهُ. Then his sons. Now in Arabic, this part is kind of tricky. Because he says, ثُمَّ بَنُوهُ. Then his sons. It appears he could be talking about the sons of the father. As first he began with Abuha, her father. So Banuhu is actually her brothers. Or it could be talking about, this is the tricky part in Arabic, he says, ثُمَّ بَنُوهُ. Using the Arabic language, the pronoun, the intent of the pronoun is آخر من يذكر, is the last one that's mentioned. فإذا أقول مثلا رأيت الإمام وبنه في الطير رأيت محمدا وعليا وسلمت عليه. If I say I saw Muhammad and Ali and I gave him salams. I saw Muhammad and Ali and I gave him salams. Which one did I give salams to? I saw Muhammad and Ali and I gave him salams.
It's not indicated.
It's not indicated. So in the Arabic language, the strongest point of view is usually, it's not a condition, you're talking about the last person that was mentioned. I saw Muhammad and Ali and I gave him, meaning Ali, that's the last one mentioned, salams. But it's not a contradiction. I could be talking about Muhammad. So that's the tricky part here. How do they have it in your book, Abdul Aziz? ثُمَّ بَنُوهُ. And then his sons. Does it refer to the father or?
It's the son of her father, full or paternal brother.
Okay. So the sons of the father. Because the pronoun ثُمَّ بَنُوهُ, and then his sons. Now the father was mentioned first, but that would be stronger, ya ikhwan, than to say her son's sons, because that would be her grandsons, and she still got sons and brothers in between that. ثُمَّ أَخُوهَا لِأَبَوَيْهِ, then her brother, the brother from both parents. Now that's strongest. If you have brothers from the father's side and brothers from the mother's side, they are the same. Some scholars say the brothers on the father's side are stronger. Some scholars say the brothers on the mother's side are stronger. لا دليل على هذا. There's no proof for that. But they all agree, but the brothers from both your parents are stronger. فإذا مثلا توجد المرأة مثلا ولها أخ من أمها وأخ من أبيها وأخ من كليهما قول الأخ من كليهما أقوى. If there's a woman, and this happens, she has a few brothers. She has a paternal brother on her father's side, and a maternal brother on her mother's side. And then she has a brother who shares the same mother and the same father. He has more right to be her wali regarding her brothers. He has more right regarding all her brothers to be her wali. Why is this important? Who has more right to be the wali? What's the benefit of that? Who knows? What's the benefit of who has more right? I'm a woman, I have a father, I have a son, I have an uncle, and I have a brother. Why is it important for her to know قَوْلُ أَيُّهُمْ أَفْضَلُ أو قَوْلُ أَيُّهُمْ يُقَدَّمُ? Whose statement from these, your father, your grandfather, your son, your grandson, has more right that you listen to? Why is that important to know? Whose statement has more right? Especially getting married. This happens, ya ikhwan. How many times somebody wants to, the woman, mashallah, a few brothers propose to her. طيب. The father says no to this one, yes to that one. The son says, no, Ummi, don't marry that one, marry this one. The brother says, no, Ummi, forget Jaddi and forget my uncle, marry this one. And then, who's left? Her uncle says, no, forget my brother, forget my father, forget your son, forget your grandson, marry this one. She doesn't know whose statement has more right. So it's important to learn whose statement is stronger than someone else's statement. No one has more right over a woman than the father. No one. Is it a condition that that father be Salafi, Sunni, Hadithi, Athari? Is it a condition that the father has to be, ascribe himself to the da'wah of Salafiyya, or the methodology of the people of Hadith, or Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, or Al-Athariyya? I say all of them, ya ikhwan, because a lot of people don't realize that they are the same. They are the same. Some brothers say, oh, I'm on the Sunnah, but I'm not Salafi. Some brothers say, I'm Salafi, I'm not Sunni. Some brothers say, I'm Hadithi, I'm not Athari. Perhaps you don't know the meaning of them. Yes, people have jacked up the names. Yes, we all live in America, ya ikhwan. Some brothers, you say the word Ahl Sunnah, oh, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, Bismillahir. Because of what the brothers have done how many years ago, especially the word Salafi nowadays. Some of the people, you go into that masjid and you say a word that begins with a sin. Salafist, oh, he's one of them. A lot of times he's not talking about the Quran and Sunnah. He's talking about the brothers and sisters that preceded us years ago, forcing this one to do that, making this masjid, you got to do this, and not giving no Quran and Sunnah. Like the group. It's not a group, it's a methodology, ikhwan, but many of us have attacked it like a group. And most of the time, that's what the people are talking about. You sit down with a brother, one brother say, yeah, mashallah, you're not like most of the Salafis I met. Well, what do you mean? Oh, you don't force me to do this. You didn't force me to divorce my wife because we differ. Or she wears black. And yeah, alhamdulillah. But you give the brothers the benefit of the doubt. What they were calling to is correct. But the manhajiyya, the how they did it, may have not been right. Most of the times we're giving da'wah, what we're saying may be right. But the way, the manhajiyya, the how we're doing it, and that affects ya ikhwan. That affects. I remember years ago, a brother came in our class. We was at some, I won't mention the name, ya ikhwan, it's not important. كنا في المسجد ما, we were at a masjid. فجلس عندنا مرتين. He sat in two of our classes. فالحمد لله أتى بالدفتر والقلم. الحمد لله. He came with a notebook, a pen. I thought he was ready. Allahu Akbar. He was taking his notes, mashallah. After the class, he said, Ya Abdullah, لماذا ما تكلم فيهم بشدة فاستغربت. He said, Ya akhi, why didn't you talk about that particular group? Why you didn't go in on them? I was amazed. I said, Ya akhi, go in on them how? What do you mean? He said, man, the other brothers, when they mention this group and that group, they say this. Oh, may Allah kill them. May Allah this. May Allah break their back. May Allah... Why you didn't do that? I was waiting for you to go in on them. He said, that's why I came, to see what you was going to say about them. I said, Ya akhi. What type of da'wah is that, ya akhi? Where did the Messenger of Allah ever do that? I said, when you go visit your mother, if your mother's a Christian, do you walk in her house? As soon as you walk in, I'm pretty sure she's a Christian. She has, like my mother has, pictures everywhere. Most of the Christians, they have their pictures everywhere. I said, when you go visit your Ummi, as soon as you go in, do you just snatch down all her pictures and burn her Christmas tree and chop it down? And do you do that? I guarantee you don't do that. You take all those presents and you bring out your machete and you just chop them down. A'udhu billah, Jesus is not God. There's no Santa Claus. I guarantee you don't do that. You don't give dawah like that. What you're saying is correct. There's no Santa Claus. That's a khayali. That's a lie. A figment of someone's imagination. Doesn't exist. Yes. Jesus should not be worshipped. Yes. But the way you're giving da'wah, nobody is going to give da'wah like that, ya ikhwan. Nobody. No one. It's the minhajiyya. This is what the word minhaj means. It's not talking about who's on it, who's off of it only. No. Clarifying what's right and wrong is a sunnah. Yes, that's from the Quran and the sunnah. Yes, but there's a way to do it. Most of the time we do more wrong than good. For example, some of us, as soon as the people see us coming, oh, there go the brother Yahi, and the people just start disappearing, just start dispersing. Because of what that happens. Yeah, come on. As soon as you park your car, the brother's having a good time. As soon as you walk up, hey, have a good day, Yahi. Everybody just start breaking up, mashallah. Most of the time it's nothing against you, but the brothers that preceded, the people who came years ago, look at a lot of the harm that they did. And most of them didn't mean no harm. They thought what they were doing was correct. They thought the way they were giving da'wah was correct. Misrepresenting scholars, depicting scholars in a way that you sure that's a Shaikh that said that? You sure? Most of the time, bad translations in Arabic. That happens a lot, yeah. A lot of times taking recordings generally, applying them specifically. The Shaikh wasn't asked about no one specifically. And then you take it and apply it to someone that you want specifically. There it is. The Shaikh just warned against, and you mention whoever you want to mention. And then you go on YouTube and you make the title any way you want. The Shaikh refutes, and you mention somebody's name. And then you go back to it. I went through this personally. Where you go to someone, hey, don't take from such and such. Why not? The Shaikh warned against him. You sure? Show me the audio. You listen 2 hours. Yahi, the Shaikh never said his name. No, it's in there. No, it's not in there. He never said that, Yahi. You're trying to apply that personally. This happens a lot, ya ikhwan. A lot. Most of the brothers that the people say not to take from, you should be taken from their knowledge and their character. And we're not saying no one is infallible. We're not saying no one has ever made an error. No. What student of knowledge have you ever met that's infallible? Show me one. I'll show you a liar. Show me someone that has never made an error. How? بعض العلماء يقولون أن في البخاري بعض الأخطاء والبخاري من أعلى أئمة من حديث. In the book of Al-Bukhari, the best book after the Quran of hadith, some scholars say it has a few mistakes. If that's for Bukhari, how much more so anyone besides Al-Bukhari? Ibn Taymiyyah, one of the greatest minds ever. Some scholars say he made a few mistakes. If that's Ibn Taymiyyah, what about us? Ibn Qayyim, one of the greatest minds you ever studied about. Some scholars say he made some mistakes. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, one of the greatest minds you're ever going to study. Some scholars say not every position of Abu Bakr was right. Sometimes Aisha was right. Sometimes Umar was right. If these great imams can sometimes get it wrong, how much more so a student of knowledge, ya ikhwan? The problem is that we put our brothers and our sisters too high. We raise them to a level that they're not actually at. So when they make an error, you can't take from that student no more. Why? He made a mistake. And then most of the time, we don't even know what the mistake is. How, Yahi? You ask the brother, what's the mistake? I don't even know, Yahi.
The Shaikh said.
The Shaikh told me, I don't even know what if the Shaikh said it, because the translator was... That's most of us. You can't read that book. Why not? Stop the tape, Yahi. I don't want this on the tape. I don't even know, Yahi. Somebody told me you can't read from that book. That's how it be nowadays. Most of the time, we're the problem, because we don't ask. Why can't I go to masjid such and such? Sometimes you have to ask, why can't I go to that masjid? And don't be afraid, ya ikhwan. And you'll be amazed. Oh, just trust me, akhi. I've been Muslim 10 years. You don't trust me. I gave you your shahada, akhi. I used to be your shaykh. Correct. You're still my shaykh. And what's your proof? That's Islam. You'll be amazed, ya ikhwan. Let's continue, inshallah. قال ثم أخوها لأبوين. Then her brother from her father and mother. The brother that shares father and mother. ثم أخوها لأب. Then the brother from the father. Shaykh Fawzan who يميل إلى جهة الأب. Shaykh Fawzan is from those scholars that lean towards that the father's side is stronger. ثم بنوهما. Then their two sons, or then the sons of them, meaning the sons of the brother that have the same mother and the same father. So that will be her grandsons. ثم عمها لأبوين. Then her uncle from both parents. ثم عمها لأب. Then her paternal uncle. ثم بنوهما. Then the sons of them. ثم أقرب عصبتها نسبا. And then, how they translate this part there, Shaykh Abdul Aziz? ثم أقرب عصبتها نسبا. Then the closest of those.
The closest acnate relative.
Okay. Then the closest relative after that. ثم الإرث. Then those who have inherited. That's what you have there?
I have emancipator.
Emancipated? Before that, you don't have something before emancipated?
The one we just mentioned, the closest actus relative. Which what I looked at was blood relative.
Blood relative. ثم الحاكم. Then the judge, or then someone that's judging. Does he bring out commentary of that one in your translation? ثم الحاكم. The last one you have.
The ruler.
Yeah.
It says the ruler.
Just the ruler.
Yes.
فمثلا ماذا تفعل المرأة بدون ولي في أهلها? What does a woman do? وهذا يقع كثيرا في أمريكا. This happens a lot in our country. What does a woman that has no Muslim males in her family, how does she get a wali? What does she do?
How she get a wife?
A wali.
Oh, a wali.
Or a wakil.
Okay. It usually comes to the masjid.
So she go to the imam, the masjid. طيب الأصل يا إخوان أن تأتي المرأة إلى الحاكم. The origin in the Muslim country. يختلف الحال في بلاد الكفار. But it's different in the disbelieving country, like where we live. In the Muslim land, she's going to not go to the masjid. The masjid is not strong enough. She's not going to go to a local imam. The local imam is not strong enough. She's going to go above them to the ruler. The ruler of the Muslims of that land. Or a judge. المشكلة ما عندنا الحاكم ما عندنا القاضي. The problem is that we don't have a Muslim ruler in the West. We don't have that. Nor do we have Islamic judges. I heard somewhere in Texas, Allah Alam, that the Muslims there, was it Texas, Ikhwan? Somewhere in Texas that the Muslims there, they have an Islamic court. I don't know how authentic that is or no, but someone mentioned this one time we taught this class, that in Texas somewhere the Muslims there, they have an Islamic judge, or Islamic court. If that's the case, that Islamic judge has more right than a local imam, because he's been appointed to judge between matters. So if you have no Muslim ruler and you have no judge, where do you go?
Like I said, some sisters come to the masjid.
So they will go to the imam. Local imam, local masjid.
Just pick out a
Or they would just pick. Now this happens a lot too. Where the woman just picks anyone her neighbor maybe. She was going to Walmart, a family rolled past. Hey, assalamu alaikum, I'm a new sister, you want to be my wali? That happens, mashallah. New family, no problem. At any rate, That's not correct to do. Unless the woman lives in a place that there's no masajid there, there are no Islamic schools there, there's no Islamic courthouses there, then she fears Allah best her ability. But if she has masajid, she should go to those masajid. And some of the ulama say, not only the masajid, but those Islamic organizations qualify too. Some scholars say masajid, Islamic organizations, and those Islamic schools. Some say that. Shaykh Ibn Abbas has the position, the masajid, and those Islamic organizations. Like what's an Islamic organization, Ikhwan? Like the ICNA. According to those scholars that say that's strong enough, you can go to these Islamic organizations. They have people that's in charge, and their leader should take the responsibility, or the president, I don't know how that goes, and then he should be the representative of the girl, or wasiyuhu, or whoever he appoints. Some masajid, they have it, I don't know if it's like that here, where the imam has already appointed people to be the wali, or the wakil rather, over the women. Some masajid have multiple brothers, and that's better. Because sometimes one brother, you see the brother, he's always stressed out looking, he's never smiling, happy. We're playing ball, he's mad. We go to IHOP, he's mad. Whatever we do, he's mad. Oh, yeah, what's wrong with the brother? Man, I'm in charge of 30 girls. Yeah, no. That's why he looks so stressed out. He's losing weight. Alhamdulillah. So a lot of times it's hard, Ikhwan, for one brother to represent all of the single women of the community. That's almost impossible. So he appoints 5 strong, religious, responsible brothers. Alhamdulillah. So the sister comes to the masjid. The imam is going to represent her. But sometimes the imam, we ask so much of our imams, ikhwan. They lead us in the salah, they do the jumu'ah, they do the classes, they do the marriage and divorce, they do the counseling. Ain't no such man, ikhwan, can do all of that. So now you have an administration. So that imam, he may appoint. He may have some sisters he's in charge of, and he may appoint some responsible, older, knowledgeable brothers, so they will have right to be the wakil over those sisters. What happens if one of those people that the imam chose starts being interested in the girl? Can you marry a wali or marry a wakil? That happens a lot in America. With the wakil, he's like, man, that's my best friend, huh? Or a lot of times, the wakils get a little closer than they should. Or likewise the woman, she feels, like we mentioned the other night, that the wakil has to teach me, my wakil has to check up on me, he has to teach my kids. Some of the sisters give responsibility to the wakil that he doesn't have. She wants him more like a mentor to her children. And so that will be allowed as long as no lines are crossed, mashallah. You can check on your brothers and sisters, ikhwan. Just have to, be mindful of your religion, be mindful of Allah Ta'ala, be mindful of shaitan, be mindful of your own desires. Tayyib. So the wakil checks up on the girl. A lot of times, he should have someone with him on the call. Maybe a group call. Another brother, I'm about to check up on the sister, yahi. Listen to this conversation, inshallah. No problem. Or the girl's not alone. Likewise, when the sisters come for counseling, they shouldn't come alone. The imam is sitting with them, maybe he should bring someone. That's not obligatory to do, but it's a protection. It's better. Sometimes the sister that you're in charge of, you say, hey, here's my wife's phone number. You have any issues, you can contact her, and then she can bring it to me, and then we'll bring it back. It's not obligatory to do that, but that protects. It protects, for example. Somebody might say, well, where did the Prophet of Allah do that? Where did he do that? The answer is most of the time he didn't do that. But he's a messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam. So it's not obligatory, but it's a protection. It's a protection. No. طيب. قال الشرط الرابع, condition number 4, شهادة على عقد النكاح, having witnesses over the marriage contract. ما مراد بعقد النكاح? What's the intent of the Shaykh when he says marriage contract? Who remembers? Is he talking about when you write it down? Our brother says yes. What's the intent when he says marriage contract? Who remembers? Nobody remembers? The marriage contract here is not the thing that you write down. The marriage contract means the marriage itself. The marriage itself. When you say the brothers, they're doing the marriage contract of the brother, meaning the brother's getting married. So the contract itself is a marriage. Now it is allowed to write it out. That's allowed. But it has nothing to do with the marriage. You can write it on a piece of paper if you wish. Or you don't have to write nothing down if you wish. You can go to the store and get that nice folder that Becca has, mashallah, $30 or so. Or you can print it out yourself, change it as you wish. Is it allowed to add conditions between the groom and the bride? Say the sister has some conditions of her own. She says, a famous one in America, you all know what I'm about to say. This in our city, this is number one, ya ikhwan, the East Coast. The sister says, I got one condition, brother. La tankahu alayya. She says, don't marry on me. I'll be the best wife you want me to be, ya akhi. Don't take on another wife. Now the difficult part, ya ikhwan, هل هذا شرط يقع إذا يوافقه الأخ? If the sister gives this condition and the brother agrees, is he binded by that? The sister says, you can't marry nobody else on me. The brother says, okay. Is he binded by that? The strongest opinion is no. But there are some that say yes. There are some that say yes. The strongest opinion from the people of knowledge is that he's not binded by that. لأن هذا من كلامها باطل أصلا. Because originally, her speech is false. She can't ask that, technically. So how could I be binded by something that she doesn't have the right to ask? And that's the strongest opinion. Other scholars say, نعم هذا باطل منها لكن أنت وافقت معها فعليك أن توفي عليك أن تكمل هذه الشروط or هذا شرط. Some scholars say, yes, what she's asking is false, but you agreed to it. So you have to fulfill it. You have to complete it. But the strongest opinion is, once again, that marriage or that condition is not allowed, ya ikhwan. No woman has the right to say to a brother, I'll marry you, but I have a condition, not to marry someone else. Now, a sister does have the right to prefer. That's right. She can say, two brothers come to marry her. This brother has a wife already. She says, I prefer to marry a brother that has no wife. That's allowed. No one can get offended there. The same way you may prefer to marry a Caucasian woman, a black woman, an African woman, an Arab woman, a tall woman, or a short woman, an athletic woman, all that's allowed. You can have a tafdeel. You can prefer in Islam. Some brothers get offended, some sisters get offended, but you are allowed to prefer. But you can't say, like some of the sisters, they say, oh, I'm not with that polygamy stuff. And they degrade Islam. They have to be careful there. One sister said, I'm not with that polygamy crap. A'udhu billah. So we have to be careful with our speech, ya ikhwan. Tafadhal, Shaykh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala al-falah. Hayya ala al-falah.
طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال والشرط الرابع condition number 4 الشهادة على عقد النكاح having a witness upon the marriage contract meaning the marriage itself لحديث جابر بن عبد الله مرفوعا based upon the hadith that's narrated by Jabir attributed to the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام قال لا نكاح إلا بولي وشاهدي عدل in which the Prophet of Allah said there is no marriage except that the woman has a wali and two just witnesses فلا يصح إلا بشاهدين عدلين. So the Imam he says, so therefore the marriage is not correct unless there are two just witnesses. طيب وبعض العلماء يقولون أن الشهادة على النكاح ليست بشرط لأن هذا الحديث ضعيف عند جميع من أهل العلم. Now there are some scholars, the scholars differ here. Al-fiqh is something that you find a lot of the scholars differing in. So the issue of witnesses, the strongest opinion is that you have to have witnesses. But there are some who hold the point of view that witnesses are not a condition. Because the likes of this hadith, hadith Jabir, hadith Aisha, according to some of them, those hadith are weak. So if it's weak to them, they don't see it to be correct. At any rate, the strongest opinion is that the marriage is not correct unless there are two witnesses from the men or four from the women or one man and two women. قال الترمذي رحمه الله العمل على هذا عند أهل العلم من أصحاب النبي. So Tirmidhi brings a tremendous benefit in his Sunan. He says, in working by this hadith from the people of knowledge, from the companions of the Messenger ﷺ. So he's showing here that many of the scholars, they work by this hadith. From them, the companions of the Prophet. So to them, you had to have a witness. وَمَنْ بَعْدَهُمْ مِنَ التَّابِعِينَ وَغَيْرِهِمْ. And those that came after them from the tabi'een and other than them. قالوا, they would say, لا نكاح إلا بشهود. That there's no marriage except that there's a witness. وَلَمْ يَخْتَلِفْ فِي ذَلِكَ مَنْ مَضَى مِنْهُمْ. Then At-Tirmidhi says, and there was no one from amongst them who differed. إِلَّا قَوْمًا مِنَ الْمُتَأَخِرِينَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ. Except a small group from the people of knowledge that came later on. So in the time of the Prophet ﷺ and the Tabi'un and those that came after them, you had to have a witness. And as we mentioned, this is the strongest opinion. So let's fast forward some, ya ikhwan. Abdul Aziz, fast forward to the next chapter and get to the chapter Fil Muharramati Fil Nikah, chapter on those who are prohibited for you to marry. Skip one chapter.
Chapter 4?
I don't have any numbers on mine.
The unmarriable woman?
Yeah.
Okay, it's chapter 5.
This is the unmarriable?
Unmarriable.
طيب, women that يحرمن علينا أن ننكح بهن. Those women that you cannot marry. There's some women in Islam, no matter how beautiful, how much money, how the lineage, what else, ikhwan? No matter how righteous they may be, there's some women that you can't marry. Some women you can't marry. Is it a condition that the non-Muslim woman, for the Muslim to marry the Christian or the Jew, she has to be on the verge of Islam? Is that a condition? You are allowed to marry a Christian woman or a Jewish woman. But is it a condition that she has to be just about to take a shahada? Is that a condition?
I never heard that.
Never heard that one. Some of the brothers, they believe that you can marry a Christian woman or a Jewish woman, but she has to be almost there. طيب هذه المسألة يا إخوان جائزة لكن لا ينصح بهن ولا ينصح بها أحد من أهل العلم. Now this issue here of marrying a Muslim man marrying a Christian woman or a Muslim man marrying a Jewish woman, this is allowed. Nobody can say it's not allowed. ذكره الله تعالى في الكتاب. Allah mentions it in the Quran. However, there is no one from the people of knowledge who recommends it. No one. It's allowed. Remember the ruling, ya ikhwan. What does it mean that something is allowed? فَاعِلُهُ وَتَارِكُهُ سَوَاء. The one who does it and the one who does not do it, their reward is the same. Allow does not mean you should do it. It's not haram, but you don't get a reward for it. And look at all the mashakil that can come. The argumentation, two people, you worship Allah, she worships Isa. She wants to call to Christmas, you call into Ramadan. No matter how pretty, how much money, how tall, how short, how much property, no, none of that doesn't matter. When you have the ikhtilaf ad-deen, when the religions differ in the same household. Look how it is when you visit your family in general. When you have a people in the house and everybody has their own religion. You can't really have a conversation. You can't really give. The conversations, is so much tension there. Your own brothers and sisters, your aunties, your your abi, when y'all differ in beliefs, look at the tension there. How much more so husband and wife, for example. Just imagine having a wife you can't pray with. So it's something that's allowed to do, but none of the scholars recommend it. None of them. And it's not on you to make her Muslim. If you do marry a non-Muslim, that is allowed. Nabas. But some of the brothers, they believe, no, I have to tabligh her, ya akhi. You hear the word that we use. I'm about to give her some tabligh. Not like that. It's not on you to make a Muslim. That's not from your power. هذا من الله تعالى يا أخي ليس عليك. That's up to Allah. We don't guide. The guidance of tawfiq. There are two types of guidance. Talking about the guidance of success, making someone a believer or a disbeliever. هذا من Allah. That's up to Allah. That's up to Allah, ya akhi, not the person. So it's allowed, but none of the companions recommended it. None of the tabi'un recommended it. None of the great imams ever recommended for a Muslim man to marry a non-Muslim woman. Many of them said, even a Muslim slave, we don't have slaves nowadays, will be better. No matter how beautiful this woman is, the most J-Lo-ish, if I can say that, of the women. The most beautiful you can mention. طيب. A non-Muslim, a Muslim woman who's struggling is still better. Because she believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we'll stop here, ikhwan, and prepare for the prayer, inshallah. Anything that we said that's correct is from Allah. Anything we said is incorrect is from ourselves. وَجَزَاكُمْ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا وَسُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ أَشْهَدُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ أَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.